Welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner podcast. My name is Scott. I'll be your host today. Got another return guest for you today. Going to bring her in just a moment. We might have a second guest today too. I don't know how I'm going to fit that in. I haven't even told her she's going to be a guest yet, but we're going to try to work that in on the back end. We'll see if that works out. A lot of things to talk about today. First of all, our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is called Ordinary Marathoner. It's up and ready to go. We've backloaded the last, dozen podcasts or so on there. So we are using this as both another sort of vessel, I guess, for our podcast. So, if you're sitting at work and you can't really pull out your cell phone to listen to the podcast, but you want to kind of sneak it in on the side throw it in the monitor, put the headphones in when the boss ain't looking, and you can listen to the podcast that way. We uploaded a video. I got to thank Brian Sidebottom. Brian, amazing job, man. Brian put together a video of the Million Moo March that we did back in November. And we what did we raise? I don't even remember. I don't remember how much. We raised a lot of money for American Cancer Society, and you guys got together and, you posted your pictures, and we all just had a great time. And Brian put together an amazing video. You can check it out on our YouTube channel as well for the Million Moo March. So really, that's the two kind of things that we're going to try to upload, is just sort of videos we put together. We don't really necessarily have a schedule for that, but we're going to talk about that, I guess, at the back end of the podcast as well. What else do we got here? We were in Phoenix this past week. We put that off to the end too, because I do want to mention our Facebook group, our discussion group. It's called Ordinary Marathoners. It's a closed group, so to join it, you have to add yourself to it. We approve you right away. You can join the conversation there. Really, a lot of supportive people out on that group. We thank you guys for being a part of it, and really, it was amazing. We met a lot of people from the group this past weekend. We're going to get to that in just a moment. You can also follow us on Twitter at Ord Marathoner. That's ORD Marathoner. And if you follow us there, we'll follow you back, and we can get the conversation going on there. So really, so many places. They got the YouTube, we got the Facebook, we got the Twitter. And I think we can talk about a lot of this with the guests here today. Let me bring her in. She also happens to be my wife. Yeah. Third time guest.
Yep.
Stefany.
Oh, fourth time.
Fourth time guest?
I think so, yes.
I don't think so.
I think so.
Had I known, I wouldn't have brought you on.
No.
Too much.
You have to.
Overload of Stefany on the podcast.
No, never.
So we went to Arizona.
Yep, we did. We had a blast, actually.
We did. So I had signed up for the Phoenix Marathon, and Stefany and her friend Aura signed up for the half marathon.
She brought me out of retirement.
Yeah, second time out of retirement, I think.
Well, no. Yeah, that was my first time.
First time?
I retired after
Oh, you retired
Phoenix.
after New York City Marathon.
Yeah.
And she brought you back for Phoenix.
Yeah.
And
then I retired after Phoenix.
But you're already thinking about it.
Well, I'm only thinking about doing smaller races, but anyway.
Okay, so we went out to Phoenix, and man, we met tons of people, and we didn't want to forget anyone, so we did make a list. Of course, if we met you and you're not on our list, that doesn't mean please forgive us. But so we went out, and we met Melissa Kahn and her husband Dave. We had a great time. We went to her house a bunch of times, and
she drove us around. She was a great
host. Yep.
Thank you, Melissa and Dave.
Yeah, we had a great time. I think I ate all the M&Ms. I think she's probably been listening to the podcast because she knows I like M&Ms. I think I ate all the M&Ms from the house, and or we might have left a little. She might have left a little for the kids. You got to leave some for the kids. But really, what nice people. We had a great time. Melinda was there. Melinda Howard. She's been a guest twice on the podcast, and she was running the full marathon along with Ray Magana, who was also there. Got to meet Ray for the second time. And, I gotta say, I'm upset at myself. So, I had signed up for the full marathon, and this, the Phoenix Marathon is known sort of as a Boston qualifier. It's sort of downhill. And I just thought this was a great opportunity for me to just continue on and continue on a good path. But, we've had issues with 2018. It hasn't really been a great year for us. Injuries, illness.
Flooded gym.
Mm-hmm. We got lots of excuses. We probably have more if we really thought hard about it.
Yeah, but I think switching over to the half marathon was actually a good idea.
And after doing it, I know that I had to do it, and I'm kind of upset about it. I mean, I switched over. I haven't been running. I hadn't run in almost a month before the race.
You're injured.
So yeah, it was just disappointing because I think at the end of that, we got to like mile 10, and I was suffering a bit. I got to admit, and we weren't even like really running that much. We were walking it, and I do have to admit, like my legs were really hurting pretty bad towards the end of that race, and geez, I got an Ironman coming up in less than 5 months now, so I got to put the pedal to the metal here and work that out. Geez, other people we met. Let's talk about other people we met.
We met some great people. We started a list to make sure we didn't forget everyone.
The list. Debbie Early.
Yes.
She's a longtime listener to the podcast and member of our discussion group. Awesome meeting you. She's from Denver. She's going out with Melissa to do the half marathon, or excuse me, the triathlon in Nepal. You guys are going to have a blast out there. Kate the Great.
Yes.
Can I tell you, Kate the Great is the reason I love this podcast. And I don't even know if she listens to the podcast.
I don't think she knows the podcast exists.
So she ran her first half marathon a couple weeks ago, I think in Dallas, and I think that's where she's from. And, she had seen the group from a distance, and she just decided to do the half marathon in Phoenix. She signed up for it, and she came out and met us. And, I had never met her before, and we kind of all just met at the expo. We had a meeting spot. And meeting her, we all went out to lunch after we met, and meeting her, and she was kind of a little nervous to go out and meet everyone because she didn't really know, she didn't know any of us.
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of like an opposite, people with, and I think of it from my own personal perspective because I try to put myself in that spot where, say, I'm going out to somewhere where I'm supposed to meet people that I hardly know or I don't really know. I get nervous. I don't like to approach people. And she just went up and did it. And then it seemed like she had a blast.
Oh, yeah. And she stayed at our hotel.
Right. She stayed, which made Uber cheaper for us, which was excellent.
Yes, we shared Ubers.
Right, so, and she really just a wonderful woman. I think she PR'd the race, her second half. And, I didn't get a chance to chat with her after because she had to go straight home. But this is the kind of person that I love to hear these stories. We should have her on
the podcast.
Maybe. You invite everyone.
Yes.
You have I'll be busy doing a podcast every night if you were my booking agent.
Ooh.
You want that job?
I'm going to be a booking agent. Yes, I am.
Great. I shouldn't even suggested that. Lori Mills and her family, we met her. I've talked to her tons of times over the last couple of years.
I don't know, we didn't see her at the race. I kind of wanted to.
Yeah, I was thinking she was gonna pass us. She's pretty quick, and we finished in over 3 hours. So I was thinking maybe she would pass. We had a lot of people pass us, race leaders and even the slow people.
I think that the T-Rex finished before.
It might have. There's someone dressed as a T-Rex that day. Julie Clark, Sonia Berg. I got to run with you guys along with Melissa for the first half of the race. It was great. Sonia, congratulations, your first half marathon. You did it. I remember we were walking at like mile 5 and someone was like, "Oh, is this her first?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's my first half." And that's tough. That's tough to get through the first one, but you did it. And hey, it's a PR. We should have like a little bell for PR.
Oh, we should. Ding, ding, ding.
I think that's good. Rory, I don't even have Rory's last name.
Oh, yeah.
I was supposed to ask Melissa and I forgot.
That's okay. Rory, you're out there.
We got to run with her. We were hanging out at the start with her. Aura Kennedy, our friend from here who was down in Arizona, visiting some colleges with her daughter and decided to join us to run the half.
Take me out of retirement and make me suffer 13.1 miles. Actually, can I just say Aura is amazing because she went ahead of me with my blessing, right? Because my foot was hurting. And she finished under 3 hours and very
good for her.
happy
She hasn't
for
really
her.
been well, she's been training a little bit.
She trained halfway, but yeah, congrats.
Yeah, good stuff. Chris Walsh and his wife, Christine Walsh. I'm not going to call you Murphy this time, but we had a great time with you guys after the race. We got to chat a lot and man, what nice people. Everyone's just so nice. And lastly, I do want to mention Mike Taruso. Mike's a guy from Jersey who had been telling us he was going to bring cookies, which, by the way, he did not do. And we were sorely disappointed.
That's okay next time.
Well, now we're on our diet, so I don't know. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. It's not on the diet.
That's okay.
Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But Mike, we gotta mention this because this is special. This is a real special thing. Mike qualified for the Boston Marathon at Phoenix.
Ooh,
Which
podcast guest. Podcast
Podcast.
guest. You got a little too excited there. Ooh, and then actually,
No, stop.
We should go see him in Boston in 2019,
I think
and
that's
he
a
can
great
bring us
idea.
cookies.
Oh,
Or-
bring us cookies to Boston. That would be great.
Yeah, there we go.
That's great. And there you have. That was pretty much the people that we met down there. And I'm sure that there are others, guys. And if there are others, I apologize. And the last person I wanted to mention was June Cosby Walker. She was down there. June, we didn't get a chance to meet, but I think you get down there and everyone's doing their own thing. Everyone's just a little too busy. And I know you reached out to Melissa to see if we could meet up, but we never really had an opportunity to do so. So I hope you had a good time, June, down in Phoenix, and maybe we'll get together next time. So, the race itself, I do want to talk about the race itself because, I think good things, bad things, and we're pretty honest here. We're not going to just, we're not just going to, tell you the great things about the race without mentioning everything. But, I think overall it was a pretty good race.
Yeah, I mean, I should have worked harder.
All right. So you're talking like from a personal perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I do have to say it's downhill. I feel like the downhill.
It's mostly, I think the way I looked at it, well, so we ran the half. So let me just give you the layout of the course first of all. It's basically split in half, right? So, maybe we just start from the beginning. Let's just start from the beginning. So, we got to the expo the day before the race, and the expo was only one day, and it was a little bit crowded there. I will say that. But overall, like everything kind of moved through, and everything was well set up, and we were able to meet people there without any problem. We did, we had to buy some gels and stuff like that, and the line was a little long, but I think that's what you get at these things, especially if it's only one day. We got our bibs, our numbers, our t-shirts. The shirts were tank tops, black tank tops, right?
I think the women's were. I think yours is.
I don't even know. I should know if I'm going to review the race online. I should know, but I'll tell you why I don't know. You know why? Because I got a large. And I don't think the larges fit me anymore because
it's in the laundry now. I'm not going to go digging.
Yeah, but I think I don't know. I think of Phoenix. I think hot weather, and I think black shirt probably not a great idea.
Although it wasn't that hot this time around.
Yeah, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't that hot. It was, let's say race morning. Let's go through the expo.
Oh, so we went to sleep at 6:30 p.m. So
and really,
that
I think if that's the complaint I have on this race, I'm totally cutting you off. Which is, by the way, whenever she listens to my podcast, she's like, "You cut the guy off. You cut the guy off." He was trying to say something. You cut him off. Mm-hmm. So I just did it to you.
Yep.
How do you like it?
You always do it to me. You got to point it out this time, but that's okay.
All right. So I think my one sort of complaint about the race was that start time 6 a.m. And the way they set it up is this. It's a point-to-point race, right? So you park at the finish line, and then you take a shuttle. So there's shuttle buses to the start of the half and shuttle buses to the start of the full. And there's probably a shuttle bus to the start of the 10K, because there is a 10K, but I don't even think I saw that, but I'm assuming it's there somewhere. And, the parking wasn't bad, right? I mean, we got a spot.
Well, we got a spot because we went there early.
Right. And that's really to your point. So the way the last bus left at 4:45 a.m. to get to the starting line. Although we heard that there were some later ones too. So they do accommodate you if you're a little bit late, but still 4:45 is pretty darn early, which means in order to park in time, you want to make sure you get there. You want to get there early enough to avoid traffic and get a parking spot. I think we left at 3:30 from Melissa's house. So we all had to meet at Melissa's house to take an Uber there. We hopped in an Uber with our pal, Kate the Great, mm-hmm. and got to Melissa's house at like 3:15.
Yeah, about. So
in order to time all that out, we had to set our alarm clock for 2:15 a.m., which I don't care who you are, how many time zones you've passed through. It's just way too early. No alarm clock should ever be set with a 2 handle. It just shouldn't happen. So 2:15, we actually went to bed about 6:45 the night before, and I slept.
So did I.
I slept pretty well. I do. And, coming from the East Coast, that helps a little bit. So we're 2 hours, we were 2 hours behind, or we were 2 hours ahead. in our biological clock. So to us, 6:45 was 8:45. It's a little better. It's still a little early, but I didn't feel as bad. I mean, maybe we did. I'm trying to put myself in that spot in the hotel room when that alarm rang.
You were in better shape than I was. I was
You were
trying to
pretty
talk.
exhausted. We were coming off colds. We had sinus issues going on, and when you first wake up when you have a sinus cold, you're never really comfortable. But
I was trying to talk Aura out from running because she actually got home late. She was partying with her family, and I thought it was going to be an easy out for me.
Right.
But it wasn't.
And she actually tried to drive to the Grand Canyon, which I believe is about 4 hours north. And she got about halfway there, and a massive blizzard in Arizona made her turn around. I didn't even think it snowed in Arizona, but apparently in northern Arizona, there are highlands that it does. And it was vicious. She had to turn around and come back. So, in case you're thinking that there's no snow in Arizona, you are sadly mistaken. So we got up early. We made it to the buses. And again, the whole logistics thing was actually better than I thought.
Yep. I agree.
I kind of, from a distance, I'm like, you got to go go park, and that's going to be miserable. And then I got to hop in a shuttle bus, and that's going to be miserable. And then I got to wait for the start, that's going to be miserable. And it really wasn't that bad. And I think, it was actually especially cold. We got up, it was 40 degrees. And then over the next 2 hours before we actually got to the race at the beginning, I think it dropped about 10 degrees. It had to be like 30 degrees outside.
It was freezing.
Which is really cold.
But the race had heat lamps.
Yeah, they had heat lamps. They had
yeah.
tons of heat lamps out. And I got to say, even standing under those things, you did get a breeze from one direction. It was still a little chilly, but it was better than just standing out in the middle of nowhere, just with the wind. And so, great job for them for being.
They get an A+ for that.
Yeah, I mean, that's really, I would think that Arizona, you probably wouldn't even think of doing that. And yet they were very well prepared. There were tons of them. And pretty much, there were little circles of people under every heat lamp.
Yep.
But, everyone was welcoming. Anyone could kind of join in the huddle there, and not too bad. Good. That was a good job on their part. So, we did. So I guess one of the complaints that I heard, the last bus left at 4:45, so everyone wants to get there early. Then you're on the bus, and because it's so cold out, you don't really want to get off.
Why'd they kick this out?
But you have to get off so that they can go back and get more people. So I heard that the people that ran the marathon, some people that ran the full marathon, those buses actually sat and waited, and you could stay on the bus until the race started. Ray said that he was able to do that. Now, I don't know if that was specific buses or bus drivers that allowed that to happen, but that would have been a good.
I hope we're not getting anyone in trouble.
Yeah, no, we don't want to get any bus drivers in trouble, but that's what happened. And then, we sat there and waited, and I don't know, the start of the race wasn't that. Yeah, you know what? Actually, there was. Remember, they did the national anthem. Mm-hmm. They had fireworks.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Perfectly timed. I was really impressed. Very professional. And, we got running. So, unfortunately, because it's so early, you start in the dark. And it didn't really affect us too much. The good thing about this race, and one of the things that I really liked about it, was it's not like they just block out one lane of traffic. They block out a significant portion of pretty much the whole road. Like, I'm talking 4 lanes, most of the race. It is wide. There's a lot of people. Probably 15,000 runners, I would think, total, half and full, and 10K probably. But I never felt like I was boxed in or overcrowded or anything like that. I will say this, that some of the people that ran the full marathon, and like I said, it's point to point. So really, you run the first 13.1 miles of the full, and you reach the starting line for the half. And people were saying that in the very beginning, when it was really dark, in terms of the full marathon, that you couldn't see. And not only could you not see, but people were tripping and falling over cones, over, I don't know, trees. I don't know what was out there, but I don't think trees, but definitely cones and maybe other runners. They, multiple people I spoke to that ran the full said that this was a pervasive problem, that it happened number of times. And that's not a good thing for a race, especially if it's going to be dark. Maybe the runners to a certain degree have a responsibility to wear a headlamp. I don't know. But people shouldn't be tripping over cones. No matter what. So, I think a little bit sloppy in that point, but we didn't see it. We didn't have that problem with the half. And I think probably because in the beginning of the half, it's just kind of a straight shot. Mm-hmm. And like Stefany said earlier, in the half, there's no real hill. I think in the full, you might have one little hill, But in the half,
I recall a hill at some point. I recall going up a hill, but it wasn't a big deal.
Bad. It was mostly flat. I'd say very flat. There might have been even the downhills were mostly subtle.
I mean, I have a problem with downhills. It hurts.
It hurts your back.
Me. It hurts. Yeah, it hurts all my legs.
And then the very end, there was actually a pretty significant downhill. I remember looking at the light posts and they just drop off.
That was terrible. I hated it.
It was terrible for you, but if you're trying to BQ and you're getting towards the end and you need to pick up a little speed, that's probably a good thing.
Only in my dreams.
So, the course itself was great. I would say the support, it wasn't as, let me say, first of all, the 8 stations, they were far apart, I thought. And I didn't count them, but I know like New York City is like every mile, and I'm not saying this has to equal New York City, but to me, like if you're running a marathon, you need to have that support, and you need to be confident that the next 8 station is not 4 miles away. And to be honest, I don't even know, because we were doing the half, and I wasn't really concerned too much about, and it wasn't that hot, so I wasn't concerned too much about hydration. But it seemed to me like some of them were pretty far apart.
To be honest with you, I didn't pay attention to that.
No.
I didn't want to use the porta potty, so I didn't drink too much water.
Well, you have an issue.
Yeah, but I do have to say, like every time we approach the water station, I feel like
the people were great,
very nice. Remember the
one
Mormons?
Station, right? The Mormons. There was a station where a bunch of kids were out in green shirts, and there would be like, I don't know, there's probably like 20 kids, 10 on each side, and they would just be very quiet, and some guy would go 1, 2, 3, and they'd all cheer for whoever was going through at that moment. It was hilarious. It was it reminded you of Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. When you ran through Brooklyn in the fall. So there were like points where the support was amazing, and then I felt like there were points where there just wasn't many people at all, which I think you kind of have to expect so early in the morning. It's not like you're running through residential areas so much like in New York. So like people can just kind of walk outside their houses or apartments and just say hello and wave.
But also New York started, at least for us, started at 11 o'clock. So no one's going to get up
So no one's going to be standing.
Right.
And really, we finished this race at 9 o'clock in the morning. We were done right around 9:15. So,
and the finish line was packed full of people.
Yeah.
And I felt I felt a lot of support out there for us.
Oh, the finish line was amazing. Yeah, the finish line was great. And really, and the post race too. Mm-hmm. So you get your medal.
Oh, can I just say this? The post race, the French toast. Oh my God. So yes. I thought there was a line for French toast, and I gave up. I said, I don't care about French toast. I'm going to go sit down.
Well, someone told us that the line for French toast at the end is an hour.
Yeah, and we saw a line. I just don't, until now.
Oh, that line was to take a picture with your medal.
Anyway.
Which we didn't do, which I actually was fine because I wasn't very happy with my performance.
But what I really liked is that I'm over there trying to get out of the race section, the post-race section, to find a seat, and this woman came up to me and gave me French toast, and the French toast was delicious.
Yeah, it was amazing. Delicious. They did have a lot of, they had chocolate milk and ice cream and other things, and just the kind of like the normal things that you'll see, water, obviously. And it's funny, we ran the half, but we got to see them give out the awards for the full, because the full people who ran the full finished ahead of us. But it was, it was just a nice, sort of like a nice family area. It was a good spot, and I think they did a really good job. I think I would rank this race ahead of Fort Lauderdale A1A.
I would.
The only thing I didn't really like about Fort Lauderdale was that you get to the end and like there's just other runners that aren't even in the race running on the course, and that bothered me a little bit.
Yeah.
And obviously that didn't happen here. But I think I would put a little bit ahead of Fort Lauderdale. Not quite MCM, Marine Corps Marathon.
No.
And obviously nowhere near New York City. The New York City lottery is actually going on as we speak. I keep checking my bank account, and they haven't taken my money.
Take my money.
It's like the only way I'm gonna run that. I think it's the only way I'm gonna run this race this year is if they actually pick me. So I know they got a few hours to go. My name is in there somewhere. Hey. Take my money, please. But we'll see about that. So, geez, after the race, we met up with some people. We went out to eat. We had some good. We went to Sal's Gilbert Pizza.
Can I just say I have the best husband ever?
Aw, I wonder what I did now.
So you pushed me on the luggage cart.
You were in pain. You she was complaining the last 3 or 4 miles. You know how I know, this is how I know that you're having a rough time, is when you ask me to go ahead and just leave you there. Mm-hmm. I know what's going through your head is, if he gets out of here and leaves, I
wouldn't quit. Marine Corps.
Right.
I would have, because it was different kind of pain, but I wouldn't have quit. Not this one, because how the hell am I going to get out of there?
Yeah. Well, it's
only one way to.
It was kind of interesting how we ran that, right? So we started the marathon. Or the half marathon. Everyone was to get together, and we were doing intervals, 1 minute walk, 1 minute run, and we just wanted to be together. You and Aura kind of took off a little bit, went ahead.
Because she put me through this torture, so I had to keep up with her. And I think I would have if it wasn't for the pain on the top of my foot. Weird pain on top of my foot. Everybody told me that it's me tying the shoelaces too tight.
Yeah,
so
could be. Right.
I'm going to look into that. I'm going to YouTube.
You can find, there was a YouTube video about different ways to tie your shoes and how, to lock your ankle in, which I needed.
Yeah. But no, that pain was horrible.
Did you have a bruise there or a scratch?
No bruises, nothing
annoying.
like that. Just the pain was, and it got really bad at one point. So I told her, go ahead, because she had the energy to keep going, and she wasn't in as much pain as I was. So
I hung back with Melissa and her friends Julie and Sonia. It was Sonia's first half. We mentioned her earlier. Mm-hmm. Congratulations again. We had a blast, and then somewhere around mile 8 or 9, I was like, I was kind of worried that you guys were just so far ahead that I wasn't going to find you because you were my ride home. So I'm like, I'm going to make sure I find them. And so I took off, and I kind of went ahead to try to find you. And you were less than a quarter mile ahead. I actually thought that the ladies would catch up to us from behind, but I think once I left, they started walking a little bit more, more intervals than running. So they never actually quite caught up, but they were close. I think they finished about 5-10 minutes behind us.
Yeah, about 10 minutes, and Aura finished a half hour before us.
Yeah, but your legs were hurting, and you were looking for chairs. Thankfully, there were chairs all over the place. So you were easy to find a place to sit. We sat for a little bit, and then we just decided we had to go. And
then we went to the bar.
Yeah.
At 9
Well, that's
a.m.
the funny part, right? So we go into the hotel. It was 10:05. So we walked up. We asked them what time to check out because we were checking out that day, and we weren't sure that we wanted to make sure we can get in and shower before we checked out. So we were hoping it was noon, and lucky it was noon. And mind you, we've run a half marathon already, right? Mm-hmm. We got up. It's 10 o'clock. We got up 8 hours before.
Oh yeah, it wasn't our 10 a.m. It was our 4 p.m.
Yeah. So. So we went over to the bar and we had a drink, or we had a beer for post race, or you had a glass of wine, I think, and. We're sitting, and it was funny because another couple from the hotel, they walked over and they're like, "Oh, see, I told you someone would be at the bar. I knew it's not too early." It's like, dude, we ran a half marathon already. Got us a break.
Yeah. And then I got pushed in the luggage cart back to our hotel room.
We put Stefany on the luggage cart.
It was great.
And pushed her back to the hotel room, which you're welcome.
I love you. That's why I married you.
I know. Just because that's all that's just so I could push you on a luggage cart back to the room. Anyway, so yeah, that was kind of our race in a nutshell. We hung around. We went to Sedona for a day. Met my friend Harry, who lives out there, a high school buddy of mine who I played sports with growing up, one of my best friends. My friend John, his boyfriend John, and we had a blast.
We did.
It was great. They say, I'm going to quote this because I said it before, but I was reading that the average child laughs 300 times a day, and the average adult laughs 5 times a day. And just to imagine what happens to you in the midterm and whatever in the middle there. But I think that weekend we laughed so much that we were certifiable children.
Yes.
So we had a blast. I do have to say the race, it was a good race, the way it was set up and the way it was done. And I am contemplating going back.
Okay, well, I don't think I'll run this one again.
Well, you don't have to run it again. You just have to make sure I get up when the alarm rings at 2:15.
Maybe it's my vacation. Why would I?
Just kick me out and then go back to bed. I'm thinking about it. It's not a done deal yet. Some things have to fall into place, and we'll see. But I did like the race. I liked it. And as a matter of fact, we're going to both review the race on RaceAdvisors.com. I haven't done it yet, but it's definitely coming. Love Lauren's website. we're going to try to have her on. I might actually have her on at the and cut it into this podcast, which is why I was saying I might have a second guest. So I'm actually going to see if she's around tonight. See if
I love that idea of that website. I mean, how many times have I wondered if it's, it's a good race to run or...
Yeah, you want little tips and tricks about how to do things, how to prepare for the race. And
I mean, if we didn't have Melissa, who ran this race the year before, she ran this race, right, Phoenix?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we didn't have her, we'd be lost, you know? And so I think that
it's
Lauren's
definitely a good resource.
Would be great.
And I don't think you wore yours. I left my RaceAdvisors headband home, and I think you left your Greasy Girl headband at home. But Melissa did wear hers.
Oh, so I took it with me. I wore it the day of the expo, and then I couldn't find it for race day, which really sucked. But everything was everywhere that night, and I just wanted to get to bed.
And you wake up at 2:15. You're not going to go around looking.
It wasn't in my mind at all. And I couldn't find it. Actually, when I unpacked our bags, I found it. So I'm glad I didn't lose it. I'm not happy that I didn't.
It is kind of cool that we have two sponsors for the podcast, and they both relate to what we actually do so well.
Of course.
That we can just we can put it right into the conversation because they work hard, they do a great job, and we use their stuff.
I think I'm gonna go on the website and get another headband.
Double down.
Yeah.
Just in case you lose it, so you have another one. You got to have a backup Greasy Girl.
No comment.
All right. Well, it's great. Now that we spoke about our sponsors, Steph, thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, you're welcome. But now I'm your booking agent, so
I'm going to be busy.
We have a lot of people.
We do. We're going to have, in the next couple weeks, we have Dan DeMore. He's going to be on. He's been losing a ton of weight. He just ran his first half marathon. He's involved in our discussion group. We're going to have Vinny.
Oh.
Yeah, Vinny wants to come on the show.
Interesting.
Which, he's not really a runner. He's an old friend of mine. But he's a funny dude. He's a pretty funny guy. We're going to have him on. And
is he going to talk about all the times that you complain about running?
Probably. Well, he runs like a mile at a time, and then he wonders how anyone else could want to run any further.
There's people out there who only have a limit for a mile.
Well, he likes, he's into lifting and stuff like that, and dude's in shape. He's just not. He just doesn't embrace the running as much, which is fine. Not
everybody does.
Which is fine. And really, the other thing that we have to mention is the Ordinary Marathon, which we kind of alluded to in the beginning. I don't think we really pressed upon, but registration is open for the Ordinary Marathon. Check it out. We could really use some people registering. It's been, I'll just say this. It was registration so far. I think we didn't really push it as much in the beginning as we did with the Million Moon March. So we kind of got to get on the ball here a little bit. We do have a number of people did register. We expanded it to 250 spots. So they will go. It's just they haven't been going as fast as we like. We did put out that video for the Million Moon March. So if you're kind of hemming and hawing about what's this virtual race about, check that out because we had a blast doing it, and even watching the video and remembering back to like the whole week that we had. What an amazing time. What a great time. You can see it on our YouTube channel. And, on that note, Well,
I was thinking before you cut me off again.
You weren't
cut me off. Don't cut me off now, though.
You have the floor.
I do. Now you're making me nervous.
Take it.
Well, I'm actually going to use Ordinary Marathon as a way to get back in shape.
Right.
Because I've been slacking. I've gained almost all of my weight back since last year.
Right.
And I kind of want to be a successful runner again. I don't want to be that person that says, I'm going to run 3 miles, I'm going to sign up for this half marathon, and then she doesn't train.
Right.
Which I've done
or
before.
Sign up for a New York City marathon and don't train, which is what you did. Can you believe that?
I know.
You hardly trained for New York City Marathon, but you finished.
No. It's not even a hardly. I did not train for New York City. I hardly trained for this one.
Yeah. But you were in just as much pain in this one as you were
I actually think this was more pain than
worse,
New York City Marathon.
Yeah.
The top of my foot. Yeah. But what my point being is that I am going to run the Ordinary Marathon.
Right, which is April 27th through May 6th.
I'm going to do 26.2 in
10 days.
10 days.
I think that's a worthy goal because,
Yeah.
you think it's 2.6 miles a day or whatever, but you don't have to run every single day. I mean, I think we might try.
Oh, I'm going to run every single day. That's my point being is that I'm going to do 10 days of running. I'm also going to train toward that. Maybe I'll do, my best mile or something along the lines. But I really want to get back in shape. And I think that our first goal is to get the gym set up again. Because right now...
Our gym is destroyed.
Yes.
Destroyed. We had like a leak in the basement a couple weeks ago. It turned out to be the humidifier down there.
So our gym floor was basically done, and we have to replace it. So we went to Costco the other day, and we bought floor tiles.
Well, interestingly enough, we walked into Costco, and
it's a sign that our luck is turning around.
You walk into Costco, and they have like the first little stretch of things that really they're in no place whatsoever. It's just probably the best deals of the week or whatever. There was the flooring. It was like the third thing when we walked in, and we were like, "This is a sign."
It's a sign.
So we just grabbed, and maybe our luck is turning around.
It is.
I felt pretty good already. I mean, I don't know. I felt like it. I feel once that plane landed in Boston and we drove home, I don't know, I was feeling like something kind of switched, and I think, I don't know, for some reason I feel like we're back on our diet. We went food shopping at Costco yesterday and got the stuff that we needed,
and some floor tiles for our gym,
and we're fully prepared. So hopefully this is a nice sign of things, kind of like our luck changing, and things, things are going to turn around for us in 2018. I got a feeling, you know what, I feel like we've persevered.
Yes.
January and February, we persevered through those months. Tomorrow is the first day of March. And then
my birthday's coming up soon.
Yeah, so things are going to change. I think our luck is going to change. So, this could be the end of the podcast today, folks. I don't really know. I'm not going to sign off though. I'm going to reach out to Lauren and see if I can get her on so we can do another little back end podcast here in a minute. And that's it. So we'll head to break, and hopefully we'll be back. Hey guys, my friend Lauren is creating an incredible resource for runners and triathletes. It's called RaceAdvisors.com. She has amassed a list of thousands of races, 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, marathons, ultramarathons, and triathlons, and anything in between. If you're thinking about running a race, look it up and check out the reviews. Have a favorite race of your own? Look it up. See what others have to say about it. Or better yet, leave a review of your own. RaceAdvisors.com. Read it, race it, review it. I want to tell you guys about another great small business I've come across while doing this podcast. It's called Greasy Girl Headbands. I know, I have very short hair, so what could I possibly know about headbands? Well, I know that I bought one for my wife Stefany and daughter Samantha this Christmas. Stefany, she uses it for what it was designed for, running and working out. But 8-year-old Sam, well, she just wears hers all the time. So the question is, how can you get one? Well, that's easy. You head on over to greasygirlheadbands.com. It's spelled GREECIE, girlheadbands.com, and select from the many styles and options they have available. I'm sure you'll find one that's just perfect for you. All right, guys, we are back from break, and I have a little bit of a surprise for you. It was kind of a shot in the dark, I have to admit. It was just, just taking a stab at it. And I have with me the president and CEO of RaceAdvisors.com, Lauren Brueckner. Welcome to the show.
Awesome, Scott. Thanks so much for having me.
Now, are you gonna correct me and tell me it's like Brueckner?
No, in fact, you're actually one of the very few people that has said it perfectly.
I mean, see, like, this is why I'm a horrible host, is that I should have asked. It's the kind of thing that you should ask in advance,
No, man, it was great. Hats off to you. Good job.
So, first of all, I wanted to thank you for your sponsorship of the show and for just your support. I know you're part of the Ordinary Marathoner community on Facebook, and we see you on there often, and I just want to thank you for that.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's a great group. You've definitely created an excellent following, and I'm super excited because I just signed up for the Million Moo March this year. Oh,
which is the Ordinary Marathon. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
The Ordinary Marathon.
Sorry,
but that's
yep.
We put a great video out today. We had a guy named Brian Sidebottom put out a video of the Million Moo March, which was an amazing, just a wonderful experience for, I think, me and Melissa, and for everyone that took part, and especially those who got into the social media aspect of it and posted pictures and everything. And really, I think it just shows. I don't know if you saw the video, but it's like, everyone just had so much fun with it, and it was just really a great thing. And we're going to try to pretty much reproduce that with the Ordinary Marathon in less than 2 months now.
Yeah, right. It was excellent. I actually just watched the video not half an hour ago.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It was awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Brian did a great job.
Yeah, awesome job. I'm gonna have to try to hire him again for this race. I think just on that alone. So
definitely
RaceAdvisors.com. Now I've been talking about you for the last couple months on the podcast, and I love the site. I love what you've put together, and I just kind of wanted to ask you, I guess, a few questions about it, if you don't mind.
Absolutely, bring it on.
So I love it. I think it's a great idea. I think it was something that, I think there are some race sort of review sites out there, but they're just not the same. It's not the same as what you put together. So I guess my question to you is how'd you get this idea, and what made you, take the first step, I guess, and start implementing it?
Sure. That's awesome. Those are great questions. So I guess my first thinking of doing, RaceAdvisors is a race review website, as you mentioned, and the purpose is to help athletes find and decide on and prepare for races. And I kind of got the idea when I was training for my second marathon, and anyone who's done distance running knows that after, double-digit miles, sometimes your mind starts wandering and you start having weird, crazy, odd, brilliant, not so brilliant thoughts. So, I think I hit mile 17 or 18, and I just thought, it would be kind of cool if we could like share information and like reviews about races. So the race I was training for was actually the Rehoboth Marathon in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, and it's my hometown, and it is an amazing race and a perfect time of year. And after that race, I kind of continued to think of, I want to tell everybody how awesome this race is. And so I started digging around, and I realized there are, a couple of race review websites, but I was kind of missing the, like, tell me if this is a good race, and if so, what should I do to prepare, and give me some inside tips. So I kind of wanted to create something kind of like TripAdvisor or Yelp, but for races. Simple things like, if I'm going to do this race, where should I park? Where's a good place to stay? Where's a great, what are some inside tips? Like, definitely do pack a pickup the night before, things like that. Sort of insider information that only one racer would know and be able to tell another racer. It's sort of a race director's job to tell everyone how awesome their race is, but I want to hear from another athlete, how good or not good, it was.
Right. I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I mean, it was something that's sort of sorely lacking, I think, in the sport.
Yeah, definitely. And I felt like there's a couple other review sites out there, and I sort of felt they weren't filling exactly what I was looking for. And the purpose of RaceAdvisors too is that I want it to be applicable to every athlete. And when I say athlete, I mean those that walk 5Ks to those who win ultra marathons. Anyone who's coming back from an injury, coming back or just getting into the sport. For me, I was coming back from having a baby number 2. I wanted kind of like a non-intimidating, like, hey, let's share some honest information about races. And it's definitely cool. It's my side job. I currently work for a child welfare agency, which is awesome, but depressing, So, I want to talk about racing more than anything. So, which is why I love, the site, the following that you've built with Ordinary Marathoner. And I've never really shared about my training or struggles or triumphs or anything before. And I definitely like it now. I'm training for 2 spring marathons, and it's really fun to, snap pictures at 5 a.m. Something I never thought about doing. And, it's awesome.
Which is amazing that there are people that do that. you're not the only one, there's it's amazing how many, it's kind of motivating, inspiring at the same time, I guess. But, it's also, I find that, our community is one thing that's good about it is that, you have your regular friends. They may be runners, they may not be runners, but when they see you post your run every single day, they get annoyed.
Definitely. I think I've been at the brunt end of some negative comments.
So it's just nice to kind of have a nice safe space where other people are in the same frame of mind, and they want to see the same thing. They want to see you do well, and you like to see them do well. And it's just, I think it's kind of what makes us a good fit in terms of RaceAdvisors and Ordinary Marathoner. Is that I think our audiences sort of overlap, and I think I think it just makes it a great fit between the two of us.
Yeah, definitely. And I know that, in reading some of the posts that some of your followers and group members have posted about their runs and about, different products that they're using, that may have fulfilled a need that I didn't even know I had,
Right.
Or something like that. Or somebody, just did a really cool race and I'm like, hey, that I would definitely put that on my calendar, which is, it's kind of what I'm after. Like I'll have bag will travel for a good race.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned the race that you ran and how you wanted to kind of get the word out about it. And I got to tell you, I think I might have heard of it, but I never knew that it was a good race or something that I should possibly put on my radar. So, and that's kind of, good news that you find on your site.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
And I do have to apologize because I left my Go Speedy headband home when I went to Phoenix. Which was miserable, but I did take a picture with Melinda, with the headband between the two of us, her headband.
Perfect. I saw it. It was great. It was totally great.
I'm like,
and it's awesome.
I'm like, Melinda, I forgot my RaceAdvisors headband. She goes, oh, we'll just use mine. All right.
No, that was sweet. I definitely appreciate it. And I definitely, appreciate you supporting Speedy. I'm trying to, I'm not a marketer, so I'm learning about, marketing the brand. And I really want to kind of, the reason I chose the snail is sort of a pun because snails are not fast, and I like Speedy because it's neither, it's not male or female, and it's not not sport specific, because we also do cycling, swimming, triathlon, duathlon, and paddle race reviews as well.
Right.
And I really wanted to use that for RaceAdvisors because I realized so many of us don't just run. I know that you yourself are an Ironman, so I wanted to kind of be broaden the scope a little bit for anybody who's looking for a different type of race or is considering trying out a different type of race. I registered for a triathlon this summer, and it's the second one I've ever done, and I'm excited and I'm nervous, but I think I wanted RaceAdvisors to kind of help people take the next leap, if they want to try a different type of sport, a different type of race, something like that.
Right. And, we have a race. We're not necessarily sponsoring the race, but we're going to have a race director on for a race called the Cheshire Half Marathon. It's in Cheshire, Connecticut. And I don't think I mentioned this before, but because I think in between tapings we just learned this, was that I wrote a great review on RaceAdvisors for the race, and I actually sent it to the race director, and he gave me a coupon code. So if anyone was interested in that race, the Cheshire Half Marathon, coupon code is ordinary, 15% off. And I don't get anything from that because I'm not into that game. I don't need like a nickel from someone every time someone signs up. I just, I'm just happy to pass that along to you guys. If you're out there, if you live in Connecticut or nearby and you want to join, we're going to go to the race, Stefany and I. So, anyone out there, and you can read about it on RaceAdvisors. There's at least one review.
There is. It was a great review. Thanks for doing that.
But and that's another thing too, is I haven't done my homework assignment, which was to review the Phoenix Marathon. But I swear I'll do it.
I know. Don't worry. I won't penalize you.
I was shocked. We looked at the page this morning, and I was shocked. There were multiple reviews already, and a bunch of them were from people from my page. So the word is definitely getting out. Things are. Have you seen like a spike in activity in terms of people posting from, say, 6 months ago or whenever you started?
Yeah, definitely. So we officially launched in April of 2017. And I definitely, saw I had nothing to compare to, so I didn't know what was a good amount of traffic, what was not, but we did pretty well all summer, all fall. And then it kind of dipped around December, and then started picking back up in January. And then February, we actually just had an excellent February. So I definitely attribute that to Ordinary Marathoner. So thanks, man.
That's awesome. So let me ask you, would you track that when you look at your tracking stats? Do you track just page hits, or are you tracking reviews? Do you have like a review stat? Like, do you know how many people reviewed?
I do, and for someone who's terrible at math, this is not my forte. This is pushing every limit, every boundary I've ever had. So it's definitely cool. But I've learned the value of stats and how to use them properly, and what they can teach me. So I target I collect analytics on the number of page visits per month. That is very important. Yeah. I generate revenue. My site is free to use, free for race directors and free for people using it. I generate revenue from advertisements on the site. Yep. And I'm really trying to target companies that provide goods and services to athletes.
Sure.
So their number one question is, how many website hits do you have per month? And now I'm able to answer that question daily, exactly how many I have. So I understand the value in those numbers. But I also track the number of reviews. So now we've got about 1,100 reviews across the site, which is really cool, which is awesome. And we've noticed a really good response when race directors or marketers, someone involved with the race posts the link from RaceAdvisors, either in a post-race email or on Facebook or something, and asks people for reviews. And that's what I've been able to do with some of your followers, is directly ask people, hey, looks like you ran a great race. If you have a moment, take time to, write a review.
Right.
And most people, when asked, will write a review because they want to share their experiences, good, bad, honest, and that's what I'm asking for is be honest.
Yeah.
And don't, we want to know if it's a good race and maybe some tips or tricks that would really help.
Yeah, and I think you have a good audience for that, because I think a lot of people out there, they're very sensitive when it comes to feeling like they're being spammed, or like I go through it all the time with the website and the podcast. Just listen to my it's just like they don't want to. Sometimes people just feel like you're offending them or whatever. But I feel like when it comes to running and especially something like this, where this is something that's helpful to them in the long run, and can be used as a resource, a valuable resource. I think that especially the people from my page, they, if you could ask them directly, and they're they won't take offense, and B, the worst they're going to do is just say no.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. And I've had a couple of people say, no, thanks. Like, I'm not really comfortable writing a race review, or, a lot of times they just won't respond, but most people do respond and they say, yeah, absolutely. And for the most part, I estimate roughly 75 to 80% of people asked will write reviews. So that's gone over really well.
That's a good turnover ratio, I guess. Or follow through ratio. I don't know. What would you call that? I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
I just made up a stat online.
I'll take it.
But, so let me just ask you, before we get going here, where do you see RaceAdvisors a year, 2 years, 5 years down the line? What do you see it becoming?
Well, if I could have a crystal ball and a magic wish, what I would love to have happen is that in a couple of years or however long it takes for RaceAdvisors to be the number one place where people go to check about what others are saying about a race. So I'd want every single race to be populated with, a dozen, 2 dozen, 5 dozen reviews. And I want it to be a resource where people can go to check about race reviews, and then be able to, write a review themselves. And I want it to be like the go-to place for race direction.
Yeah. Now, do you do anything with, I mentioned that I had a coupon code for a race, but do you do anything like that, or like anything, like, I don't know, like I see maybe like, all right, say I want to run Phoenix Marathon in 3 years. I go on the Phoenix Marathon page. I say, oh, look, it's like 4.5 stars or whatever it is. And I can click on a button and either go to the website or click on something and get a coupon code and then, just sign up directly from your page. Is that anything that you get involved in?
Not yet, but it's definitely something I'd love to do in the future. Yeah. Right now, we've got a couple of partnerships with companies that provide goods and services to athletes, and those are discounted. So we've got a handful of discounts. You can check them out on our website, raceadvisors.com/speedy-supporters. And that list, there's about 10 or 12 different companies, including Orange Mud, Bib Boards, a handful of companies that already offer us product discounts. And those are up and running, and pretty much anybody can have access to those discounts, but I haven't yet done them for races. Now, that's definitely something I'd like to do.
Yeah. And am I right in saying that once you do a review, if you fill it out, like all those codes come up, like all those deals kind of, I think that's,
definitely.
Page.
So what I decided to do, rather than sending a thank you email, cause I feel like everybody just gets tons and tons of emails, so I want to do something a little different. So it is the landing page. Yeah, right. So as soon as somebody submits a review, they get a thank you so much screen, and it lists all of our discount codes. So there's discount for We Grind, which is great t-shirts, bib boards, Orange Mud, Momentum jewelry, which are really cool, motivating jewelry.
We know Momentum jewelry.
Yeah, man, I love their stuff. Oh my gosh, I love it. We've got 5Crate, 5K
yep.
Crate. Yep, that does, the monthly subscriptions. We've got Energy Bits, Crave Jerky, Exo Skin, Tuviso, and Knuckle Lights. And all of those are excellent supporters. So definitely their discounts anywhere from 10 to 20%. With different discounts codes.
Yeah, I think that's great that you just kind of, I find even with like my podcast business, again, I'm the same way. I do this part-time. I have a full-time job that I do during the day. And then, whenever extra time I have, I try to put into this. It's like, it's a labor of love, certainly, probably for you still at this moment too. It's probably starting to turn around a little bit. But it's just nice to see that your efforts get, the thing builds slowly sometimes, but it builds. And eventually, you're like, you turn around and you go, man, I had, for me, it was like the first year I had 2,000 downloads and then I got 20,000 the next year. And I'm like, man, like, what I do differently? And the thing is, it just builds. It builds on itself. And I think for your site especially, I think you're going to see the same thing. Is that, you throw it out there and then people start learning about it. And then, they see that little snail everywhere they go. And those reviews will just keep getting populated. I know I always tell my audience to review their races on your site, and I'll keep doing it because I think it's a good resource.
Awesome, Scott. Well, I definitely appreciate it. Thank you.
Can I ask you, is it the first time you've ever been called president and CEO?
Yeah, man. It makes me feel really important.
You're like, wow. That's what you are.
I've been called many things, but those two words have never been it.
That's what you are. Well, what did I miss? Did I miss anything, or you think we've gone over everything, or?
I think we've got everything. I just wanted to mention one kind of new program we just launched about 2 weeks ago. This is actually our week 3. Is we started a Winter Wednesday program. So anyone who has written a race review, and one review equals an entry. So if you've written 10 reviews, you get 10 entries. I've got a little bucket that every Wednesday we pull a name out. I'll say my 3-year-old daughter pulls a name out, and that person wins, a giveaway for the week. So we have different companies providing different giveaways. For instance, this week was a beginner's triathlon book. Yep. Last week was a scale. The first week was bib boards, bib clips. So we've got, that's definitely going really well. We've got a lot of companies that have donated or, agreed to sponsor a giveaway. So every week we will do a Winter Wednesday where we have a drawing. So the more reviews people write, the more chances they have to win. So I know your name's in there a couple times. So good luck to you.
And at least one more to come. At least one.
Definitely. Perfect. You and Stefany, you both get entries. So that's definitely a cool program we just launched. And that's helping, get the word out about Speedy. And I love giving stuff away.
Yeah. Isn't it a good feeling? People really like it.
Definitely. And it's fun and it's, something different. So hopefully we'll get some good giveaways out to lots of folks out there.
Well,
so
cool. Well,
people rate reviews, they get an entry.
Well, thanks for coming on, Lauren. I had a blast. I think, I think your site is a valuable resource. And just once again, thank you for all the support of my group as well, because, I think it's a good give and take here. It's a good, I think both of our businesses sort of fit together well. And I'm glad we figured this thing out.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I really appreciate all your support, and I appreciate you letting me come on the show.
Okay, great. We're going to wrap it up there. And, I don't even know. Where to go from here. We're just going to wrap it up there. Next week, I think I mentioned this earlier, but next week we're going to have Dan DeMore come on. He just ran his first half marathon, and he's trying to lose like 50 pounds in 3 months. I think it's a little enterprising, that thought, but hey, he's going to give it a go. Hopefully he'll be successful, but we'll talk about it. I think we're going to have him on Tuesday. We also have my friend Vinny Russo coming on, and he'll be on, I think, over the weekend. Not really a runner, but a funny guy. So hopefully we'll find something to talk about. And with that, always remember, when it comes to running, I'm no expert. I'm just ordinary.